Hi guys, welcome back to this Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this Benbros Mighty Midgets number 16 1957 Chevrolet Nomad station wagon from shabby to shiny. Quite a mouthful there, but I wanted to get all that out because it only reads underneath Benbros, quality made in England, but doing some research, I'm kind of relying on some of the information on Google, but it reads Benbros Mighty Midgets number 16 1957 Chevrolet Nomad station wagon. And if you're a bit of an OG viewer of the channel, a few months ago now, probably 4, 5, maybe even 6 months ago, I picked up like a scrap package and this was in there, and I thought it was about time that I kind of restoration plussed it today. 2,000 likes could be yours. So not much of a roller, this old Chevy, and this is all we've got. The base and obviously the casting. Now you can see that there is a little bit of colour on this base, and to be honest, that's the kind of colour that we're going to be going with today. But as I mentioned, it reads underneath here, Benbros, quality, made in England, and nothing else. But a relatively simple casting here. The 57 Nomad, one of my favourite cars of all time. Obviously it's got the 2 doors, so it's not a 4-door station wagon. It is a 2-door car. Kind of awkward shape to this actual casting. It's not very, I guess, correct to the real car, but you know, if you know your cars, obviously it's very obviously a 57 Chevy. So trying to buff out the roof section here, you know, it wasn't myself that has taken this apart. I don't know how this paint was taken off. I don't know how long ago it was taken off. Trying to buff out this metal didn't really come out too good, but you know, obviously I'm kind of working with what I've got and how it's been given to me, or at least how I bought it, and gonna just try and buff out this roof section to see if I can really smooth it out. And actually it's coming up quite nice, I think you'll agree. But I'm just going to go over the whole casting and get this as polished up as I can. Now with the little bit of paint on the base here, it's not actually coming off. So what I did do, kind of I guess off screen, is hit it up with some paint stripper. And I use this stuff called heavy duty paint stripper by Power Strip, which some people would have seen on the channel, kind of sparingly kind of going by. So it's coming up quite nice now, and as you can see, it's making quite the mess of my fingers. But I've tried to buff up and polish out the body as best I can. Because of the kind of raised areas with the sanding paper, there was only so much I could really do with that, without obviously taking out all of that fine detail, which of course I want to keep on this little casting today. And I've got the fine surface primer, trying to go with a relatively light but single coat. and then the colour that I initially started up with, I wanted to go somewhere towards the custom end, and then I actually, you'll see shortly how this turned out, and then I changed it for more of the kind of original colour that I see on the base. But anyway, this is a beautiful colour, and I've used this a couple of times, and I've mixed it with a couple of other paints, and it kind of occurred to me that whenever I use this, I get issues with the finish. It's the only Tamiya metallic that I actually have. All the others are all gloss, and it's beautiful colour. It really is a beautiful colour. But I'm going to start laying it on here. As per the previous video, kind of with, I guess, just trying to do that single coat rather than layering it up with multiple coats. Now this is a different paint than the previous one, so with everything really, I like to think that it's all a bit of an experiment. Because I don't know whether I've used this paint straight up. I can't remember now. Obviously I've painted so many cars, and some of them so many times. This one included, obviously being painted now for, well, to me, you'll see coming up a second time. Yeah, this particular kind of casting, like I say, is a bit awkward looking. It's a bit kind of, a bit squared off, a little bit kind of short. Like I say, the real car is a beauty. I remember watching it recently on a kind of Gas Monkey episode where he done it for a race car driver in green, kind of like Gas Monkey green, I guess you could say. And, you know, beautiful car. But you can actually see here, the kind of, if you can see on the roof, some of the paint is separating. Now, I'm blaming the paint. There we go. But it could be, obviously, a multiple things. Remember, who knows what was used to strip this car. Even though I've cleaned it, there could be something remaining. But this is obviously no good to us. So it will actually get the foot-long hot dog jar treatment with the boiling water and the caustic soda. And then somewhat fast forwarding, look at how now shiny that it's come out. So there must have been something on the surface of that kind of body. But I will be starting again, obviously giving it the primer here. But I threw that paint. I didn't have a huge amount remaining, but like I say, I've only had troubles with it, so I thought I'll just get rid of it and let's just kind of change up the paint. And I went with a colour that was kind of by memory the same that was on that base. So we're going with like I actually used a mixture of sky blue and clear blue. I wanted it nice and shiny. Probably went with like a 2-to-1 ratio, kind of 2 parts blue clear and 1 part sky blue, just to make sure that it was a solid colour. I didn't want a clear colour. But I guess as I look at it now, it's certainly dried more towards the sky blue than anything else. But where I previously was using a makeup of 2, 3, 4 coats even. I would use a total of 3mm, or 3 millilitres rather, of paint kind of mix with thinner. So 2 lots of paint, 1 lot of thinner. So you got 3mm there, and I'm laying down the whole lot as I would do in multiples of paints. I'm still using the same amount of paint, just in obviously one go. As I mentioned in the previous video, Marty last week kind of mentioned this, and so far it's working out pretty good for me, and it's saving me a little bit of time, which even better. I think what's concerning is when it first lays on, it looks a little bit pitted, but yeah, once you leave it to one side for a while, it certainly does dry a lot smoother. So now this is polished out, you can read a little bit better there, Benbros quality, and I've chromed out the bumpers front and rear, and I've picked out a set of wheels which I think are in keeping with the kind of style of this car. They're a little bit on the larger side, but you know, it's what we'll be going with. And obviously there's a lot of detail that can be added to this casting, and which is I'm going to try with my little chrome pen. And then I've painted the kind of posts there black so that they kind of hopefully just fade away on the inside. But here's a little reminder of what she looked like, how I got it from my little scrap pile, and this is the result. So as you can see, the wheels are in position, and I've used my chrome pen down the side of this mouldings here, plus the door handle. Very difficult because it's kind of like hair thin around back. A little bit of red in the rear lights, and again chrome on those strips, and coming back round to the other side, again a little bit of chrome, probably a little bit better finish on this side I think. I was just talking to Danny actually, and he said, you know, he prefers to kind of scrape it off with a knife or sandpaper. I might have to try that on the next one. But then I think the front, that's where the beauty really is, isn't it? All that chrome, a little bit of white on the headlights. Yeah, really happy with this one. But anyway, I just want to thank my patrons, including very brand new Mikkel Nielsen. Thank you, sir. And thanks everybody else for watching. 2,000 likes, remember, could be yours. And anyway, I'll see you on the next one.